Adam here from the Walser Automotive Group, but what I want to do today is take you on a test drive. So next to me here, I have the 2025 GMC Terrain. We'll look at the interior and the exterior, and then we'll go for a spin around, see what it's like out on the road. All right, so now we're behind the wheel of the GMC Terrain. Again, this is the Elevation trim. So it's a little confusing because they launched with only the Elevation trim. We can see a few more trim levels now for 2025. And I believe in 2026, they're also going to do the AT4. So a very much more off-road focused version. But for now, the Elevation does give you a lot of equipment, and there's a few different packages available within the Elevation. This is kind of the base model as far as it's concerned. Now, what's really cool on the GMC Terrain is all the updates and changes they made from the outgoing model. But the first thing, before we even get going, let's talk about the infotainment screen. So now it's a 15-inch display. It's going to come standard with wireless Apple CarPlay as well as Android Auto. And I've got my phone with me, as we usually do. And there's a nice little storage area here down below. And then with that wireless Apple CarPlay, Google Maps, text messaging, Spotify, everything is built right into that screen. We also get the 11-inch digital gauge cluster here, so there's lots of pretty cool tech and new toys in the GMC Terrain. But let's put it in drive, we'll go for a spin around and touch on some more of that stuff. Now let's begin with what powers all of these GMC Terrains. There's a 1.5 liter 4-cylinder engine that is going to be turbocharged and give you about 175 horsepower. Now it is important to note that it will come in front wheel drive or all-wheel drive, but there is a couple pretty big differences there. The front wheel drive is going to get a CVT transmission, where the all-wheel drive, which we have here today, does give you the 8-speed automatic. So if you don't want the CVT, go with the all-wheel drive. The other big difference being fuel economy remains the same on the highway. Now the front wheel drive gets about 2 mpg better in the city at 26, where this gets 24, but both highway mileages are going to be 28, which is pretty impressive for a vehicle of this size. Now what about the ride and drive? Is it enough power if I put my foot down? I'd say so. I mean, that's more than enough to get you out moving into traffic. I mean, merging out onto the highway, get you on the on-ramp. I think I would rather have the good fuel economy than maybe 40 more horsepower. Or I know a lot of people like the V6, but that turbocharger does give you that power pretty much anytime you need it on tap. And the 8-speed automatic is very seamless out on the road. Now let's talk about the exterior, because obviously there were some pretty big updates for 25, starting with the front. So they redid the grille. It's going to look a lot more kind of like a baby Yukon than anything. It's got those C-shaped LED headlights that are really cool. When you unlock the vehicle, they blink a couple times and they kind of dance almost. It does look good, and the grille is pretty cool looking as well. Now there is a few different wheel options depending on which trim level you're looking at. These are the silver aluminum faced wheels. They do look really nice on this vehicle. And this one also is an optional volcanic red. Now, what about storage? So obviously this isn't a third row SUV. This is GMC's kind of smaller vehicle in the lineup, and it does give you quite a bit of cargo space. Now you can also fold the rear seats down. So it's a 60-40 split. If you need a little bit of extra space, this one's definitely bigger than the 2024. And we did do a comparison between the two. So I can link that video down below if you do want to see some of the main changes between 24 and 25. But I do feel like there's a little bit more room in this model. Now in the second row, that's going to give you USB-C charging and a couple of vents back there so everybody can stay comfortable and charged up when you're on the go. Now how about the driver's seat? It's pretty nice. So this one is just the cloth seats, but all of the GMC Terrains are going to come standard with heated seats, a heated steering wheel, and you get the remote start on the key fob. So I love the leather wrapped steering wheel. A day like today where it is a little chilly, it's about 40 degrees, but it does make a pretty big difference when your hands are warm and your backside is warm, and you can fire the vehicle up and get it nice and toasty before you even hop in. I love that feature, and I love that it comes standard with that. Now from the driver's seat, like I said, the infotainment screen is definitely the biggest upgrade for me. If you've spent any time in the previous Terrain, you know that it had the smaller infotainment screen, so getting this large display, especially with the wireless Apple CarPlay, for me is so cool. It's so easy to use, and it's also got Amazon Alexa built in, so you can actually pair up your system if you're an Amazon Alexa user. That makes it pretty cool. And it's got Google Assistant. So you can even ask it to say, take me to Walser, Buick, GMC in Bloomington. It will give you directions, and it also goes up here on the 11-inch digital gauge cluster. So there's actually maps built in over here. You can use the little button on the controller here. That's going to show you kind of your pertinent information, some of your trip computer stuff, and it also pulls up that map, which does make it really convenient so your attention is focused on the road ahead. Now, as far as safety is concerned, this one did get a little bit more standard available safety features. There's a new bicycle warning kind of system, so it can actually see bicyclists on the road. You do get adaptive cruise control standard as well, and some of that other emergency safety features that obviously if you and your family are in the vehicle, you're going to want to make sure you're safe, and this vehicle certainly delivers on that. Now, there is plenty of storage in here as well. What I really like is that when they go to these kind of shift-by-wire systems, so the shifter is actually up here on the column, that frees up a lot of space. So you've got some USB charging down here, and then underneath that, you actually have another little storage cubby. So whether you're throwing your purse down there, or you just want a little bit of extra room to throw things around, that is pretty cool, and it's always nice to have plenty of storage when you're on the go. There even is a little hidden storage compartment in the back of the vehicle, so you can lift up where the spare tire would be, and there's even more underfloor storage there to keep stuff out of sight. So, as we kind of wrap up our drive here, we have to talk about the price. Now, this particular one, MSRP is going to come in just a few bucks over $34,000. So the average new car price right now is still $48,000 in the US. So this vehicle is not only quiet, comfortable, and fuel efficient, but with the new technology, I mean, you're getting wireless Apple CarPlay on this 15-inch screen, great fuel economy as well, like I mentioned, and tons of style on the exterior, all for $34,000. So if you think at a time where vehicles I get are getting more expensive, there's obviously going to be more trim levels of this, so if you want more equipment, you can certainly get it. But what a great vehicle. I mean, 99% of the time, if it's just you in the car, you're bopping around town, going to the gym, going to work, I think this is a comfortable, quiet, great way to go about your day. And I think if you're cross shopping, whether it's Honda, Toyota, or maybe Chevy or Ford, I think this is definitely one to add to the list to come out, take for a spin, and see what you think. Now, that was just a quick look and drive at the 2025 GMC Terrain. Now, if you have any other questions or you'd like to schedule a test drive, you can visit us online at walser.com or stop by anytime. We'd be more than happy to help. Thanks again for watching.